Hi, it's Steve from PartSelect. Today we're going to show you how to change the door closer cam kit on your refrigerator. It's a pretty easy job. All we're going to need is a Phillips screwdriver, a 5/16 nut driver, and a 1/4 inch nut driver, a putty knife, and a utility knife. Let me show you how we do it. Now the door closer cam kit fits both the refrigerator door and the freezer door. They're mounted in exactly the same manner. The only difference would be with the freezer door, if you have an ice and water dispenser, you will need to disconnect the water line and pull that up through. Now before we begin this repair, if your model of a refrigerator has an ice and water dispenser in it, such as this one, you will need to disconnect the power. Now next we're going to remove the lower kick plate. So I'll open up the doors so we can gain access to it. Now it's just held in place with a couple of spring clips. So grasp either side and pull it forward. Next we'll locate the water line and disconnect the union. Now there may be a little water that will seep out of that hose, so we'll get something there to catch that. Next we're going to remove the little clamp that holds that water line in place. A single 1/4 inch screw, or if the clamp is loose enough, you can probably pull the tubing through it. Now we can close that door, and we'll remove the upper hinge. Now next we'll remove a single Phillips screw that holds the end cap in place. Lift that off. And we can disconnect the wire harnesses. And remove the single screw that holds the ground wire in place. Next, we'll remove the 3 screws that hold the hinge to the cabinet. Now, making sure that the door is firmly closed and the gasket is holding it in place, we'll lift up on the hinge to clear it from the locating tabs. We'll just turn it sideways. And now we're ready to lift the door off and put it on a suitable work surface so that we can do the repair. Now, as we lift that door off, we're also going to be pulling that water line up through the lower hinge, so do it carefully. And now we can set it down where we can do the work on it. Now, with the door on a suitable work surface, we've exposed the door closer cam on the bottom here. It's held in place with a single 1/4 inch hex head screw. We just need to remove that screw. Next, with a putty knife, we're going to get in under the edge of that and pry it loose. And pop that out of the opening in the door panel. Now we can slide it right off of the tubing, discard it. Take our new closer. First of all, install it over the tubing, and it's a hex-shaped shaft on the back side of that cam, so we need to line that up with the opening in the door panel. Reinstall the screw. Now you could apply a little bit of food grade grease, just a small amount, to that closer cam. And then we're ready to reinstall the door. Now when we go to reinstall this door, you may need some assistance in guiding the water line through the opening in the bottom hinge. So we're simply going to lift that up, guide that through that opening, making sure not to kink that water line, and make sure the door is seated firmly on the lower hinge. Put it roughly in position. We're going to lift the upper hinge, set it over the locating pins, and we're ready to reinstall the 3 5/16 screws. We just turn the screws in snug to begin with until we line the door up. So what we want to look for is an even height across the top and an even gap between the two doors. Once we've achieved that, we can tighten those screws securely. Next, we'll reinstall the ground wire. A short Phillips screw. Tighten that securely. Next, we'll reconnect the wire harnesses. And reinstall the cover. Now we're ready to reconnect the water line. Now before we reconnect that water line, we will want to snip about 1/4 of an inch off the end of that tubing so that we have a fresh piece for the clamp nut to hold it. So we'll open the door up, give us a little extra room. And then just taking a nice sharp utility knife, we'll lay that tubing across a block of wood. And snip a piece off. Now we'll feed it up through the clamp. We'll slide the nut onto the end of the tubing. And make sure it's fully inserted into the coupling. Make sure it bottoms out before you tighten that nut. Make sure the nuts are securely tightened. And we can close that door up. Now before we install the kick plate, we will plug the refrigerator in and use the water dispenser to make sure that we have no leaks in that area. If everything is fine there, then we can reinstall the kick plate. Now we're ready to install the kick plate. I'll open the doors again. And there are 2 spring clips, one on either end of that kick plate. We'll line those up with the openings in the cabinet. Snap them into place. And our repair is complete. Told you it was an easy job. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your repair.